Okay, class, I know it's a holiday. I know it's Memorial Day. I know you're like, wait. You can't play that theme music because that theme music means it's like time for a Bible pop quiz. It's a holiday. Yeah, I know. You're just immediately, you just threw your phone across the room like, absolutely not. I am not doing a quiz on a holiday. This is ridiculous. But hey, class, come on. Put down the hot dog, put down the drink. Come back inside. I'm sorry. No. You got to get out of the pool. Get out of the pool. It's not been 30 minutes since you ate anyway. Get out of the pool. Come on. No, you got to turn off your whatever marathon you're watching on television, whatever you're binge watching. You've got to stop. I'm sorry. Turn off the baseball game. I know it's Memorial Day, but we got to do kind of a pop quiz, right? And I know this should be for the Bible pop quiz podcast series, but really this is not going to be in that series. Yeah, this is all going to be confusing, but just everyone come on. I know you're mad. I know you're upset, but hey, you love when I say this, right? Hey, class, grab your notebook, grab your pencil, and grab your Bible because it's time for another Bible pop quiz, even though this won't be a part of the Bible pop quiz podcast. It will all make sense. But wait. Before we even continue, guess what I have right here in front of me? Speaking of grabbing your Bible, I have right here a brand new Bible. One of our listeners by the name of Scott, he emailed me and he mentioned that he just got this new Bible, or he had recently got this new Bible. And I was like, well, tell me all about it. Well, he sold me on it really quick. And I'm like, well, I have to get one. So I ordered one. It was only like $13, $14. So I didn't know what to expect. When I saw the price, I'm like, as much as this listener is hyping this Bible up, right? There's no way for that amount of money it's going to be that good. And then I got the Bible and I opened it and I'm like, whoa, this is awesome. So let me tell you about this Bible before we do anything else. I know. You're like, just hurry up. I've got things to do. I understand, but stay with me. All right. So this is a hardbound Bible, hardcover, right? So it's hardcover. Some people may like that. Some people may hate that. It is called a pew Bible. So this would be a Bible that you would put there in the pew for everyone who comes to church who doesn't for some reason have a Bible, a visitor who doesn't have a Bible. They can just reach up and grab it. Now, typically, sometimes those pew Bibles aren't very good. This thing is amazing. This thing is awesome. So as a pew Bible, it would be amazing. But this is a great Bible for anyone wanting to do Bible study, because you know what I always tell people, if you really want to engage in Bible study, you need a Bible that has zero notes, if possible, no chapter headings, nothing, no cross-reference, nothing, just the text. Well, this is basically just the text, and it's just beautifully put together. So you can get this Bible at Walmart for like $12. You can get it on Amazon for like $13, $14. You should look this up. I'm going to do my best to give you all the information. And if you cannot find it, you can email me, newsif@yahoo.com. That's newsif@yahoo.com. And I'll be more than happy to send you a link so that you can look this up. All right. So, and what I'll try to do, if you're using the Church One app, I'll send out a notice with a link to the Bible in the notice. So I'll try to do that. So if you're not using the Church One app, please go to the Apple App Store, the Google Play Store, download Church One, Church ONE. All run together. Once you download it, search for Theology Central, and then the Church One app becomes the Theology Central app. And I can send out push notifications, and if you have your notifications on, you'll see the notification, and you can just click on it, and it will take you to the link to the Bible. So I will do that here in just a few minutes, or once the broadcast is over. So it is the Thomas Nelson New King James Version Pew Bible, or the NKJV Pew Bible, large print edition. All right. Again, it's hardbound. It's blue in color, but here's what I love about it. First, it lays flat easily. Like I have it open right now. It just lays flat. Perfect. It has really, I guess it does have some chapter headings. They're kind of at the very, very top of the page, right? So like if you're just looking in the text, you don't really see them. You'd have to kind of look at the top. So I guess you could get something, but I mean, it's the least amount that's in most Bibles. There are no cross references here. Really, there's a couple of little notes here about the text or like some other other ways of translating it. Maybe how something shows up in the Masoretic text or the Septuagint that it may omit something. Very basic information, nothing like study notes or anything like that. Basically, it's just the text. What I love about it, not only does it lay flat, nice and neat, and that's great for study. But what I love is it has the comfort print. The comfort print typeface. And the comfort print typeface just is so easy to read. It looks so, I love the comfort, what's called the comfort print typeface. I really love the way it looks. It's just so nice, easy to read. And this would be perfect if you want to grab a notebook, a pencil, and a Bible just for your study. Right? This is not like a Bible you would use for using for cross-referencing or for study notes or any those things. I call them reference tools. Study Bibles are reference tools that you pull out after you've done your study. You need a Bible that doesn't have anything in it. And this is the one because it's less than like $15, you definitely should choose to get one. Again, it's the Thomas Nelson, the New King James Version, Pew Bible, a large print edition, and an exclusive, easy to read comfort print. All right. See, what else can I tell you about this? You should be able to find it relatively easy. I think you should be able to find it. I could give you the ISBN number. I'll go ahead and give you the ISBN number. I know when I searched for it on Amazon, I used the ISBN number, and that's how I found it. I don't know if that works on searching for it at Walmart, at walmart.com. You could probably go into a Walmart and see if they have them there if you want to go out today. But the ISBN number is 978 978-0 7180 9564 2. Let me read that to you one more time. The ISBN number is 978-0 7180 9564 2. This is the Thomas Nelson Pew Bible, New King James Version, large print edition. The thing is awesome. I'm already ready to use it. In fact, I have it open right now for where we're about to begin. So, are you ready, class? I know it's Memorial Day. I'm already seeing some of your faces. I know. Are you ready? Got your notebook? Got your pencil? Have your Bible? All right. In my case, my new Bible right here, because I'm going to use this, I think, a lot for study. I think I'm going to use it a lot. I really, really do like it. So please consider getting that. It's a cheap one. Or if you know someone who needs a Bible, right? And you're like, man, some of these Bibles are expensive and I don't know, but I want to get them a nice one. This one I would choose, like if you need to get someone a Bible, get them this. It's not leather bound or anything like that. It's a hardbound book, but I still think it looks super nice. The binding is nice. Everything about it is easy to read. And I think it would be a nice gift if someone needs a Bible, or a number of people need a Bible, or if your church just needs some extra Bibles, tell your church to get this one for the pews, because I think it's very nice. And anyone picking it up would be like, oh yeah, this is really nice. All right. So do that. Now, with all of that said, it is Monday, May the 27th, 2024. It is now currently 12:27 p.m. Central Time. If you've been listening to this podcast over the last few weeks, you've noticed I've kind of started focusing more and more on the book of Proverbs. more and more. You've heard me preach on it. You've heard me do little devotional messages. You've heard me reference it. The book of Proverbs, the book of Proverbs, the book of Proverbs. So for this Memorial Day, we are kicking off what will be the next 30 days, at minimum, the next 30 days. It's all going to be about the book of Proverbs. So for the Sermons 2.0 app challenge, what you need to do for the next 30 days is look up random sermons from the book of Proverbs. It can be just look up Proverbs. You can look up Proverbs 1, Proverbs 10. You can look up a specific verse, like let's say Proverbs 14:1. You want to hear what someone has to say about Proverbs 14:1. A certain phrase, fear of the Lord. You can do anything that will get you into the book of Proverbs. You have lots of freedom and you can do it topically, thematically. You can do it by a verse. You can just look up Proverbs and whatever shows up. But for the Sermons 2.0 app challenge for the next 30 days, Proverbs, I will be reviewing sermons in the book of Proverbs, and we will probably doing devotional messages. I may preach sermons on the book of Proverbs. We're just going to go all in and see what we could get, because I feel this constantly. I feel that the church at large lacks biblical wisdom, lacks a biblical worldview, lacks a biblical way of seeing things. And forget the church. When I look in the mirror, I'm like, man, that guy right there in the mirror, that guy is a complete fool. That guy, he has no biblical understanding. That guy needs help. And I'm obviously referring to myself. I need biblical wisdom. And I know you may not like this, but if you go look in the mirror today, the person looking back at you, they need biblical wisdom. We all lack it. We all think so incorrectly about so many different things. And I've always struggled with how to get the most out of the book of Proverbs, how to grasp it the best, and what to do. And I've read books and I've looked at this and I've taken classes on it. And every time I'm kind of left feeling like, I'm not so sure. And I'm not saying that I've got it figured out for this 30-day journey through the book of Proverbs. We may extend it and go 60 days. We may spend the entire summer there. I don't know. But I think it will be very valuable to you and to me to spend some time in the book of Proverbs and see what we can actually obtain and get from the book this summer of 2024. I think we can do something with it. So here's what we're going to do. I've got my new Bible, the Thomas Nelson Pew Bible right here. I have it open to the book of Proverbs. And I'm going to read a verse. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 1. Proverbs chapter 1, verse 1. The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel. The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel. The Proverbs of Solomon. The Proverbs of Solomon. Now, the first time maybe when I read that, I at some point early in my Christian life, it probably did not hit me the same way it hits me all of these years later. But now when I read the Proverbs of Solomon, I've talked about it in numerous sermons and in many devotional messages. I struggle with that. I'm like, the Proverbs of Solomon, because I've read the rest of the Bible. I know all about Solomon. I know all about him. You can talk about the wisest man who ever lived. The wisest man who ever lived. And I say this all the time, and I know it offends people, but the wisest man who ever lived happened to be a serial adulterer, a full-blown polygamist, right? I mean, come on. I mean, he had 1,000 women, so he was committing adultery. He was a polygamist. I mean, there's no way to get around it. And the man ultimately ended up an idolater. So I don't know, when I pick up a book that says the Proverbs of Solomon, there's a part of me that goes, why would this be the Proverbs of Solomon? Why? Now you can say, well, he's the wisest man, but the wisest man was a serial adulterer. He was a polygamist. He was an idolater. I mean, come on. And you say, well, I mean, you can't define him by his mistakes. Well, I agree that no one should be defined by their mistakes, but let's just make it clear. He never stopped being an adulterer or a polygamist. He didn't just get rid of all of his concubines and get rid of all of his wives and just pick that one. So, I mean, he maintained that all the way until his wives turned his heart ultimately from the true God to idols. So whenever I read the Proverbs of Solomon, I'm just left baffled. I'm left confused. I'm left like not exactly understanding what to do with that. And I don't know if I've ever been given a solid answer for that. So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to do a little pop quiz. This pop quiz is all going to be basically about Solomon. I'm going to be borrowing some questions from an article that was put together on October the 18th, 2016. I don't know the author of this. Let me see here. I just happened to find it online. Yeah, it doesn't have... It comes from like ebiblestudies.wordpress.com, but it's also called the 30-minute Bible Study blog. This was a blog. I don't know if there's a name here. It says follow me on Twitter. Yeah, I don't know where. I don't know if I can get that. Maybe if I did a little bit of work here, but yeah, this is where I'm taking some of the questions from. I may be modifying them and I may be changing them, but hey, anyone who puts together some questions that kind of serves as an introduction to the book of Proverbs, I think that's really cool. And I like someone putting forth the effort to do that. So I may be utilizing some of that, but I think we're going to start here. All right. So let's just set this all up. It's Memorial Day. Some call it the summer kickoff, right? This weekend is the kickoff to summer. I know there's obviously a much more serious part of Memorial Day, and we could definitely discuss that. And by no way am I disregarding that or dismissing that. Don't anyone accuse me of that. Obviously, I served in the United States military. Okay, so 100% disabled vet. So yeah, I understand the significance of today. 100% do I understand it. Okay, but we also know that within the culture, this is like the summer kickoff, right? People are traveling, and this is a lot of fun and a lot of people celebrating. Some people say that diminishes the sacrifice and what people gave, those in the military who died and sacrificed for our freedom. But on the other way, I see something kind of beautiful about it, even as someone who served in the military, that hey, people died in the military, people served in the military to protect those freedoms. So you can go travel and go do all those things and celebrate the beginning of summer on Memorial Day. I think it's kind of like, hey, it's because of those sacrifices that we have this ability to have our summer of fun and activity. So I don't know. I think the two connects, but I'm not dismissing the seriousness of this day. But it is the beginning of summer. So let's kick off our summer by spending some time in Proverbs, doing a quick pop quiz. Well, a pop quiz that, you can have a couple of days to work on it. You don't have to have it done today. But this will start off our entire focus on Proverbs for the next at least 30 days. So for one thing you need to do, make sure you download the Sermons 2.0 app, Google Play or Apple App Store, Sermons 2.0 app, and start looking up random sermons on the book of Proverbs. All right. Again, you can just type in Proverbs. You can type in Proverbs 1, specific phrases, anything you want. You have a lot of freedom in how you find random sermons on the book of Proverbs, and start listening, taking notes, and make sure for each sermon you write out that one sentence summary of what the sermon was about. Okay. Because then you can look back and remember. But we're going to start off now for us. Those are the other things you need to do by doing some basic questions on really that kind of an introduction based on this whole issue, the Proverbs of Solomon. The Proverbs of Solomon. So I'm going to just start with a very open-ended question. Number one, I want you to write this down. Number one, why Solomon? Why Solomon? I want you to just think about and just, this is very open-ended. You can kind of write and stop and write and maybe it's going to take you I want you to spend the next 30 days just trying to answer that in your mind. Why Solomon, of all the people to write down? I mean, if we believe these words of Solomon are inspired by God, then because some people say, well, it had to be Solomon. He was the wisest man. But if he's writing under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, then this is why call it the Proverbs of Solomon. This should be called the Proverbs of God, right? If this is given to us by inspiration, correct? So if we truly believe it's by inspiration, then why would you inspire someone like Solomon, who really is he not the opposite? Is he not the poster boy for acting the fool? Like, is Solomon the poster boy for like, hey, ladies and gentlemen, you want to see the best example of wisdom? Look to Solomon. Would he not be the worst example of wisdom? I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of I've got a lot of theories and ideas. I don't know if I have it definitively down, but I want you to just like, why Solomon? Why? What are the positives? And you can really expand this. And I hope you'll spend some time doing some work on it. Write down the positives of it being Solomon. What are the positives that Proverbs was written by Solomon? What are the negatives Proverbs was written by Solomon? What does it make any difference? Look, sometimes knowing the author of a book, I think, can have a profound impact on how one interprets said book. Sometimes not knowing the author, it really doesn't impact it. But in this case, the fact that it is the Proverbs of Solomon, does that impact your interpretation of the book, or does it make any difference? You're like, well, it does. It could say the Proverbs of anybody and it wouldn't make any difference. Now, we know other people are involved here in the maybe the later section of Proverbs, but for the most part, these are the Proverbs of Solomon. So is that a positive? Is that a negative? I'd love to give you that. So I want you to just start off. The first one is kind of just an open-ended question, right? We'll call it number one, all right? We'll call it number one. What I want you to do is consider, why Solomon? I want you to just think about that. Have debates with other people about it. Discuss it. If you're getting together today for, I don't know, grilling out, burgers, whatever, just ask everyone, hey, why Solomon for the book of Proverbs? What do y'all think? Everyone goes around and gives make sure you record it or give me good notes on it, okay? Because I want to know everyone's opinion. Why Solomon? Again, Proverbs chapter 1, verse 1, the Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel. It makes it very clear exactly which Solomon this is referring to, right? We have his name, Solomon. The fact it's the Proverbs of Solomon. Well, I could almost give you a question. I won't get into that right now. All right. The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel. I mean, there's all these identifiers, so we know exactly which Solomon we are referring to. And that's the Solomon who was a serial adulterer, a polygamist, who became an idolater. There's just no way. I don't know how we cannot just overlook that, right? All right. So why Solomon? Now, number two. All right. Number two, I want you to look in 1 Kings chapter 2 and answer this question. What advice did David give Solomon? So number one, why Solomon? Number two, what advice did David give Solomon? You'll have to look in 1 Kings chapter 2 to try to define that answer. So number one, why Solomon? I can't necessarily tell you where to look to find that answer. You're just going to do a lot of speculating. And number two, what advice did David give Solomon? And you'll look in 1 Kings chapter 2 to try to locate that. All right. Number three, what did Solomon ask of the Lord and why? What did Solomon ask of the Lord and why? You'll have to look in 1 Kings chapter 3 to find that answer. So number one, why Solomon? Number two, what advice did David give Solomon? You'll have to look in 1 Kings chapter 2 for that answer. Number three, what did Solomon ask of the Lord and why? You'll have to look in 1 Kings chapter 3 for that answer. Number four, what else did God promise Solomon? what else did God promise Solomon? And you'll have to look in 1 Kings chapter 3 for that answer as well. All right, so number 1, why Solomon? Number 2, what advice did David give Solomon? You'll have to look in 1 Kings chapter 2. Number 3, what did Solomon ask of the Lord and why? You'll have to look at that in 1 Kings chapter 3. Number 4, what else did God promise Solomon? You'll have to look in 1 Kings chapter 3 to find that answer. All right, number 5, how was Solomon's wisdom first demonstrated? How was Solomon's wisdom first demonstrated? You'll have to look in 1 Kings chapter 3 for that answer as well. All right? You'll have to look in 1 Kings. So number 1, why Solomon? Number 2, what advice did David give Solomon? 1 Kings chapter 2. Number 3, what did Solomon ask of the Lord and why? 1 Kings chapter 3 verses 4, just 1 Kings chapter 3. I'm giving you the specific place to look. Don't. Just 1 Kings chapter 3. All right. Yeah, you tricked me. You tricked me and almost telling you exactly where it was located. All right. All right. So number 1, why Solomon? Number 2, what advice did David give Solomon? 1 Kings chapter 2. Number 3, what did Solomon ask of the Lord and why? 1 Kings chapter 3. Number 4, what else did God promise Solomon? 1 Kings chapter 3. Number 5, how was Solomon's wisdom first demonstrated? 1 Kings chapter 3. Number 6, how did Israel benefit from Solomon's wisdom? Number 6, how did Israel benefit from Solomon's wisdom? Now, to find this answer, you're going to have to look in 1 Kings chapter 4, 1 Kings chapter 5, and 1 Kings chapter 10. All right, so number 6, how did Israel benefit from Solomon's wisdom? How did Israel benefit from Solomon's wisdom? You're going to have to look in 1 Kings chapter 4, 1 Kings chapter 5, 1 Kings chapter 10, and 1 Kings chapter 10. All right, so 4, 5, and 10. All right, so that was number 6. How did Israel benefit from Solomon's wisdom? 1 Kings chapter 4, 1 Kings chapter 5, 1 Kings chapter 10. Number 7, what was the effect of Israel's wise ruler on the surrounding nations? What was the effect of Israel's wise ruler on the surrounding nations? What was the effect of Israel's wise ruler on the surrounding nations? To find this answer, you have to look in 1 Kings chapter 4, 1 Kings chapter 5, and 1 Kings chapter 10. All right, so number 1, why Solomon? Number 2, what advice did David give Solomon? 1 Kings 2. Number 3, what did Solomon ask of the Lord and why? 1 Kings chapter 3. Number 4, what else did God promise Solomon? 1 Kings chapter 3. Next, number 5, how was Solomon's wisdom first demonstrated? 1 Kings chapter 3. Number 6, how did Israel benefit from Solomon's wisdom? 1 Kings chapter 4, 1 Kings 5, 1 Kings chapter 10. Number 7, what was the effect of Israel's wise ruler on the surrounding nations? 1 Kings chapter 4, 1 Kings chapter 5, 1 Kings chapter 10. All right. Number 8, what led to Solomon's downfall? What was the consequences for the kingdom of Israel? What led to Solomon's downfall? What were the consequences for the kingdom of Israel? That answer will be in 1 Kings chapter 11. Number 9, what did Jesus recognize as the ultimate wisdom? What did Jesus recognize as the ultimate wisdom? That will be found in Luke chapter 11. All right. What did Jesus recognize as the ultimate wisdom? That will be found in Luke chapter 11. And number 10, how can we be wise? How can we be wise? Now, I'll go through these quickly one more time, all right? It's always like, how many times do I repeat the questions? Because I don't have anyone in front of me, they're writing and they're looking up saying, can you repeat that? I just have to move on. I know you can easily just back this up and listen to it when it's on demand, but if you're listening to me live, it's better that you do it now, then you don't have to go back and listen to me after it's uploaded. Now, if I want to get the extra downloads, I could just do it really quick and then tell you to go back and listen, but I'll give you the opportunity to get them down right now because I know your time is valuable Because, well, it's a holiday. All right, are you ready? Number one, why Solomon? The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel. Why Solomon? I want you to think about all the positives, negatives. Why? Just see if you can figure that answer out. We may never have a good answer, but I think it has to be at least asked. Number two, what advice did David give Solomon? That answer will be found in 1 Kings chapter 2. Number three, what did Solomon ask of the Lord and why? Look at 1 Kings chapter 3. Number four, what else did God promise Solomon? Look at 1 Kings chapter 3. Number five, how was Solomon's wisdom first demonstrated? Look at 1 Kings chapter 3. All right. Number six, how did Israel benefit from Solomon's wisdom? You can find this answer in 1 Kings chapter 4, 1 Kings chapter 5, 1 Kings chapter 10. Again, number six, how did Israel benefit from Solomon's wisdom? The answer is found somewhere in 1 Kings 4, 1 Kings 5, 1 Kings chapter 10. Number seven, what was the effect of Israel's wise ruler on the surrounding nations? Again, you'll find the answer in 1 Kings chapter 4, 1 Kings chapter 5, 1 Kings chapter 10. Right. Number eight, what led to Solomon's downfall? What were the consequences for the kingdom of Israel? The answer will be found somewhere in 1 Kings chapter 11. Number nine, what did Jesus recognize as the ultimate wisdom? Look at Luke chapter 11. Number 10, how can we be wise? That serves as our introduction. Our introduction to Proverbs. And you notice all of those questions primarily deal with Solomon. Why? Because Proverbs chapter 1 verse 1 begins, the Proverbs of Solomon. Why Solomon? In a sense, number one question, why Solomon, really leads to those other questions. Those other nine really flow from that first one. Why Solomon? Well, we got to do a lot of looking at what happened with Solomon. I gave you some questions that tried to get you in there. If you want to do more extensive reading, you can read 1 Kings chapter 2 through 4, and then 1 Kings chapter 11. If you want to just do some recommended reading. And that's what's offered here in this blog that I'm looking at. They all recommend the same thing. Read 1 Kings 2 through 4 and 11. So maybe we'll do some devotional messages that will supplement this work on Proverbs. Now, this is where I want to do some teaching. But I can't, because this is more just a pop quiz. The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel. Why Solomon? Why Solomon? And this really challenges, I think I'll end with this, the way we perceive things. Right? Let's say you go to church. There's a guy who sits 2 pews up in front of you. This guy has 1,000 women. Hundreds of wives, hundreds of concubines. And he's an idolater. Would you tell everyone that's the wisest man in this church? That's the wisest man who has ever lived. It seems almost contradictory, doesn't it? Solomon would not be allowed to teach in most churches' Sunday school department. Most churches would not let Solomon anywhere near anything. He probably would be thrown out of every church. Yet, Proverbs. A proverb a day keeps the devil away. Well, obviously the one who wrote the Proverbs, did it keep the devil away? Okay, a proverb a day may keep the devil away, but it won't keep away 1,000 women, okay? It won't keep away concubines and perpetual adultery and idolatry. So it's just funny the way our perception is, right? The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel. I mean, that verse just makes me go, I just don't understand. Now, I want to keep reading. But we'll stop there. All right. There you have it. Memorial Day. A little Bible pop quiz. We got 30 days of Proverbs at least in front of us, a minimum. Grab the Sermons 2.0 app. Start looking for random sermons on Proverbs. I've told you, there's a variety of ways you can look things up. You can just type in Proverbs and just go from there. You can type in Proverbs 1, Proverbs 2, Proverbs 3, and go from there. You can look up, phrases or anything related to Proverbs. What limits you is your own creativity and your own imagination here. But I hope you benefit greatly from it. All right? And we will be grabbing random sermons and reviewing them. And I just want to make sure, I do want to clarify this, because I think some people have a wrong perception. When we grab a random sermon and we listen to it, even if I'm critical of it, we are still grateful and thankful that message is there. It's not me trying to attack anyone. It's like, okay, hey, they put their perspective all over the internet. So now I'm going to take their perspective and we're going to listen to it. Maybe we will agree. Maybe we will disagree. We're not there. It's not about criticizing. It's about like, okay, they put forth their hypotheses. We're taking it and we're listening to it. We're considering it. We're analyzing it. We're critiquing it. We're reviewing it, but we're not doing so to be critical of the person. It's not like, hey, this is a really messed up church. No, we're like, okay, they put forth their perspective. Well, what about this? And what about this? And what about that? And what about this? It's supposed to be a beneficial thing for everyone, right? It's supposed to be like, I'm pointing people to these other sermons so that they can hear a different perspective. I'm here to contrast maybe their perspective or to ask tough questions so that people can get more out of it. It's not supposed to be a negative thing. It's not like I'm like, okay, I'm going to go listen to these churches that I completely think are messed up, and I've already listened to the sermon and I just want to bash them. No, I'm just choosing a random sermon that I have no idea what's going to happen in. I may agree, I may disagree. So hopefully that it never turns into a controversy. I hope it doesn't. I would hate that if people get frustrated or upset. No, I'm just like, hey, I'm grateful you put your sermons online. That gives the listeners great opportunity to hear that perspective, hear my perspective, hear my questions. And then I think we all benefit from it. So we will definitely be doing a lot of listening to sermons on Proverbs for the next 30 days. All right. It's May the 27th, 2024. This has been kind of a special Bible pop quiz as a part of our series on Proverbs, as part of our Sermons 2.0 app challenge, and in a sense, as a part of our Bible pop quiz. It all kind of came together right here, and hopefully we'll have a beneficial time. I look, every time I try to go to the book of Proverbs, I always want to come out of it wiser than when I started. I don't know if that's ever occurred as of yet. I don't know if it will occur this time either, but I'm doing my best to try to get the most out of it. So there you go. If you have any questions, email me, newsif@yahoo.com, newsif@yahoo.com. Thank you for listening. And this has been a special Bible pop quiz. It's not really a part of the Bible pop quiz series. So we'll just call this, hey, you're welcome. Thank you for tuning in. And hopefully you will benefit from this special Bible pop quiz.